Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to With Jewish Youth. And I'm certainly happy you're with us here once again tonight. We've had some tremendous feedback on the shows that we had this week and last week, and people are continuously telling us how much they enjoy the With Jewish Youth programs. The basic reason, evidently, is the fact that we bring into the homes the kind of a message and the kind of people who ordinarily don't come on radio, and you don't hear, really, some of the interesting life stories of some of the organizations, what Jewish life is all about, how Judaism battles for its existence, and some of the wonderful people who are totally involved and dedicated to these programs, which make the future of Israel a bright one. And so, my dear friends, tonight I have invited a very distinguished delegation from Long Beach, Long Island, New York. And this is the women's branch of our own National Committee for Furtherance of Jewish Education, which sponsors With Jewish Youth. In the panel tonight, we have Mrs. Chana, the president of the Long Beach chapter. We have Mrs. Dorothy Goldman, who is the chairman of the board. We have Mrs. Esther Sheldon, who is the program chairman. And then we have Mrs. Judith Goldman, who is the vice president and membership chairman. Welcome to With Jewish Youth. It's certainly a pleasure to have you here tonight, and I'm sure that our audience is very eager to learn and to know more about you, what you people are doing, and something more about this little shtetl that we call Long Beach. We hear a great deal about it, we know about it somewhat, but I think that the true picture of Long Beach has never really been told and is really not known to we foreigners who live in Brooklyn or in other parts of this great city. I think we're going to begin with our program director, Mrs. Esther Sheldon, since she has the responsibility of the programming of all this work. Esther, may I ask you to tell us something about your experience with the National Committee, and what do you think about this chapter? What is it all about?
Well, Rabbi Hecht, right off, I'd like to say that having National Committee in Long Beach is really a dream come true for me. I've been living in Long Beach, thank God, for 22 years, and years ago was active on the building committee of our local yeshiva, and have been a supporter of our local Masifta. But today, to see the establishment of National Committee in Long Beach, catering to those children who have no affiliation at all, and seeing the really God-given success that Rabbi Shapiro has met with, is simply a dream come true for me. And I am delighted and deeply honored to be involved with Our Ladies chapter that has been recently established, and look forward to greater and greater success under your aegis and the good work of Rabbi Shapiro.
Thank you very much, Esther. That was a good introduction, I think, to the work. But I think we ought to pick up a little bit from what you've just said. And the next question that comes to my mind is, why is it that this is a dream that has come true? Evidently, there was something lacking in Long Beach up to now. And the mere fact that we appeared on the scene gave you people some rejuvenation, let's use the word. And I think Chana Vine, U.S. President of the Long Beach Women's Chapter, should be able to tell us something about that. What's all the excitement about with the fact that there is a branch today of National Committee in Long Beach?
Many of our high school youth and other children were participating in various organizations like the Jews for Jesus, the Maharani Group, other organizations that conflicted with our ideals for Torah Judaism. And we felt that there was a void in the community. Even though we do have synagogues and rabbis in the community, we feel that they were not doing sufficiently to get these children back to Yiddishkeit. And when the committee came on the scene, we decided to form an organization and work with them to bring our children back through various programs that Rabbi Hecht and Rabbi Shapiro helped initiate. and we felt also that there was a need for the women's group to work along with them and get the parents of these children involved just as well as we were.
Okay, that gives us somewhat of an idea of the kind of work that is being done. I would like for one of you ladies to be a little bit more specific and tell our radio audience, perhaps those who are listening from Long Beach tonight, about some of the projects that you people have already instituted. I think it's very important to let our people know that we opened an office. You have an office now in Long Beach, and I think we should tell them the name, the address, where they could come in, and so on and so forth. Judith, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the activities of Long Beach?
The office is located at 26 West Park Avenue in Long Beach. The telephone number is 889-3363. We are setting up a library, which will be open daily. We will have a telephone 24, which is dial a concept. They will give you a message of Judaism, and you therefore can leave your name and telephone number. We will also have adult education classes there in the evening and during this daytime for the women. There are other programs set up for the women's organization, which will be explained by Esther.
All right. But let me ask you this. You know, I always had a concept, and I think many people have the same concept, that Long Beach is a town for old people. We hear so much about the different commercials for the home for the retired and the senior citizens' homes and so on. And, you know, an image is created in a person's mind when he hears these different commercials coming across the air all the time. I would rather think that from looking at you people, first of all, you're young yourself, and second of all, is the fact that you are so interested and vitally concerned with youth programs. Now, how do youth programs find a place in a town of old people? I'm going to ask Dorothy Goldman to speak on this subject.
Thank you, Rabbi. First of all, let me say that Esther is an old-timer in Long Beach, but I'm a newcomer, and I'm very thrilled to say that an awful lot is being done for the youth of our community. We have many, many young families, and many children have not gone to any Talmud Torah, any synagogues, and my favorite program is the Release Time program for the youth. We take the children of 5 and 6 and up, and at least they get something. They get 1 hour a week at least, and from then they go on and they go to Talmud Torah, and some of our families have children now going to the yeshiva. This, to me, is the most wonderful accomplishment. I'm so grateful for it.
All right. Let me go a step further on this. Now, these are what? What average age family would you say? I mean, I think you're the youngest of the group, Judith. Let's get this from you. What type of families are these? Middle class, or a little better than that, or lower? Give us a little bit of a picture. I think it's important to set the background so that we know where we're going and exactly what type of work we could expect in the form of accomplishments.
Well, I would say it's predominantly a middle-class community. There are 7 synagogues in town. There is the Hebrew Academy, which, Baruch Hashem, my children are now attending. I'd like to relate to you, if I may digress. I met Rabbi Shapiro through my Hadassah group. We had set up a study group, and that was my first introduction to him. And both my husband and myself, we were both very impressed. And we spoke to him about coming out and doing something in Long Beach. And we found out that he had come out to Long Beach prior to this meeting when he was setting up the Lag BaOmer parade in Brooklyn. And he's found that there were children going to the Catholic Church, and he was very shook up, needless to say, and set about doing something and trying to set up a release program in Long Beach. This he accomplished. It was a tremendous success. My children, having attended a Talmud Torah, was visibly impressed with Lubavitcher and attended the release time even while going to the Talmud Torah of our choice. They felt it was not enough, and Rabbi Shapiro felt that my children would get a much better education in the Hebrew Academy. And in speaking to my children, they were all for it and are now attending the Hebrew Academy. They love it. It has brought Yiddishkeit further into our home, and it's really done a fantastic job. And it's mainly because of Rabbi Shapiro's love of Torah. It comes through so visibly. It has also come through from every Lubavitcher that I've met. It's a fantastic love that there's just no describing it. You have to meet them, and it comes through. It just really does. Beautiful.
Judith, let me just delve with you a few more minutes, if I may. First of all, tell me, how old are your children?
My children are 12, 8.5, and 7.
Boys and girls?
2 girls, which are the oldest, and my boy, Dovey, is 7.
And all are going now to the academy?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So all your children, thank God, are going now to the yeshiva. I see that my friend over here, Dorothy, is waving. Yes, Dorothy, I'm not starting up with you, don't worry.
I'm the grandmother. And I must tell you, this is the good Hamishnakas that I have from these children. They are just tremendous. There's been such an improvement, not only in their school, but in their home life and everything else. It's just something that one has to really see, to come there Friday night and see them make Kiddush and see my son with the... It's really something to see. It really is.
Well, I think this tells the best story. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are very informal on With Jewish Youth. We talk it and tell it just as it is. But wait a minute, let me get back yet a minute to Judith. You and your husband are both American-born?
Yes. Yes, we are.
All right. What was your past in education? Jewish education?
Practically nil. I was always interested in Judaism. I always read, but it wasn't enough. I always felt there was something lacking. When we took off from school, I attended services. My brother was bar mitzvahed, but it was not stressed as much as I felt it was necessary. Through my husband studying, I became more aware of it. We discussed. I joined Hadassah, and it started to mean much more. When the children came along, I was hesitating. Shouldn't I keep a kosher home? It was Rabbi Shapiro. We attended an adult education course where Rabbi Mindell and Rabbi Levy spoke and gave courses. They were extremely interesting. I found out what I didn't know, and it goes on. But one thing came across to me very, very strongly. Do the mitzvah, and you'll learn more afterwards. Afterwards, I came home, and I said to myself, enough fooling around. I started with the kashrut. I started to keep a kashrut home, and I enjoyed it. It was a challenge. Now I'm baking challah every Friday. You can go on. It's endless. But the education is so important.
Okay, that's my best message. I don't need any more philosophy. All the philosophies are over. May I ask you, Esther Sheldon, to give us a little bit of an idea of how this was accepted? How did we get the real inspirational message across? How is this being accepted by the multitudes in Long Beach? I don't have to tell you, we can be very open. Most townships have all kinds of politics, and sometimes religion suffers because of it. I mean, we have no bones to pick. We have no reason, God forbid, to hurt. We're only there to help, as you very well know. But I think we ought to see, did the public at large, the Jewish public at large, have they responded to this call to Yiddishkeit that was sent out by our group? And Do you find that this thing is growing, that the movement is getting to be more and more popular and people are coming in more and more to take advantage of the different programs that are being offered?
Well, Rabbi Hecht, I'm going to answer you quite spontaneously, so I'll tell you right from my heart, quite openly, as a witness of what went on since its inception. Many very fine people in town felt threatened. That's the truth. That's what Judaism is all about, and I'll speak it. I say fine people because they have established congregations or whatever going, and they heard of this young rabbi coming in and activating amongst Jewish children, and they very naturally felt threatened. What will happen to their congregations? Actually, the National Committee, again, in truth and honesty, is not conflictual in any way. Rabbi Shapiro is not confronting children who are attending Talmud Torahs or yeshivas. He has in mind, his goal is to attract children who never set foot in a congregation. The ideal being to prepare these children for congregations already established in town. This is the dream, this is the ideal, and as such, certainly is not conflictual in any way. What happened when the first anxiety passed since his appearance is that his work seemed to have activated the already established congregations and rabbis and actually motivated these people to become more active within their areas of Jewish education, which of course is all to the good. And eventually, we hope and dream that Long Beach will become a very, very Jewishly vibrant town, with all the congregations having their ranks filled with Jewish children, and everyone living together in peace and harmony.
Thank you so much, Esther. I suppose that's the way it is. Chana Vine, her English name is Honeyvine. That's the way sometimes we call her by her English name, sometimes by the Jewish. Tell me this, you as being president of the Long Beach chapter, how is it going from the women's end of it? Are you getting, usually I know that where the women become involved, then it's a successful undertaking. There's no question about it. And Kanahara, with you wonderful, dynamic women behind this drive and behind the work of National Committee, headed by Rabbi Sheldon Shapiro in Long Beach, I know with the help of God that it's going to go over the top. But I'd like to know on a more detailed report, how are things going? How are you finding the response of the women, and what are some of your plans into the future?
All right. After your original organization meeting, Rabbi Hecht, at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Hamill, our organization was formed. We held a very successful sukkah party at Bachuri Chemed Synagogue in Long Beach, which was very well received and attended. We had a membership tea shortly afterwards at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Mermelstein, at which time we signed up 30 paid-up members. Our plans for the future are a Hanukkah party and package party, which will be held, please God, December 2nd, 1974, at my home, which is 118 West Olive Street in Long Beach. And we invite all of the people of the community of Long Beach, Oceanside, and adjacent areas that would like to affiliate with our organization to come. We plan on manning the office at 26 West Park Avenue in shifts. And we have various activities which are coming up, especially the women's classes, which we feel are very important and will take place very shortly after we are in our new building.
So from my end of it, all I can say is a lot of hatzlacha to you, and go from strength to strength and keep up your wonderful work. And don't forget to put that candle lighting program into effect. and see that we get little Meidalach in Long Beach to light those candles, especially from the age of 3 and up. So we keep those lights of mitzvahs burning brightly all the time. I think, ladies, I always like to relate some life experience that my guests have gone through or lived through. We don't use names, not to embarrass anybody, or we just don't like to, make anybody feel uneasy. But I think we ought to get some story of how someone found himself through the work of a national committee. And I think Esther Sheldon, as our program director, let me call on you once again to tell us if you have something along these lines.
I'll mention her by name since I know that she wouldn't mind if it's all right with you.
Fine.
This young woman is so ecstatically happy that she's shouting it over the rooftops, as it were, herself. And her name is Mrs. Holly Fell. She was alone in Long Beach with her 10-year-old daughter, Melissa. Didn't know what to do with her in the hot summer, couldn't send her to camp, and somehow found out about Rabbi Shapiro's release time program and sent Melissa to Rabbi Shapiro for the release time. Well, the end of the story is that Melissa is attending the local yeshiva. The mother became strictly kosher and observant and just started another life. And whenever you meet her, the light is shining out of her eyes with enthusiasm, and she goes off into another world telling me about how very, very happy she is, right, Chana? My friends here are smiling, listening to it, because it's true. And this is the beginning, we hope, of a wonderful, wonderful new life for mother and daughter.
It certainly is, and it's beautiful, to say the least. By the way, how long have we been active in Long Beach? It's just, we're talking about accomplishments that sometimes take 25 years to bring about. But I think that we ought to tell our audience how long these activities are going on. And may I ask you, Dorothy Goldman, to let these people know exactly when it all started?
The women's division is a very recent thing. We've been active for about 2 months. And we've had, as Honey told you, we've had a membership drive, and we have had parties, and we've had wonderful response.
But actually, we were there a year ago, I think, our activities. All right, so actually, we are now first in our second year. And thank God we could chalk up some very, very fine successes, which makes me feel very, very proud. And I thank the Almighty that we were able to be effective in this thing. Now, you mentioned, Chana, before something about high school children. What are you doing for high school children?
Rabbi Shapiro has inaugurated a high school class very similar to the release program, but within the confines of the Long Beach High School, where they will meet as a club hour, and we'll talk about Yiddishkeit and learn about dinim and various things that would apply to the youth of the community. And I think this is a wonderful thing because it will bring the children closer to Yiddishkeit.
Will this be for boys and girls?
Yes, Rabbi, for boys and girls.
Is there a fee?
No, all of our programs are completely gratis, and we do have a slight membership fee for the women, which is nominal $5 for the year, just to defray the cost of our postage and miscellaneous expenses. And would appreciate if any of our listening audience would want to avail themselves of joining with us, because in numbers there are strength, and we can do that much more by increasing our ranks.
May I ask you to once again give us the address?
The address is the Women's Chapter of the National Committee for Furtherance of Jewish Education, 26 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York.
Give us that phone number again.
889-3363.
889-3363. Is that a 516?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Rabbi.
Okay. Yes, Esther.
While we're on the subject of that very important commodity, money, I happen to know that they need furniture for this new office and bookshelves and tables and whatnot. So chairs, and he's really just opened the door, so to speak, and started with a telephone and a promise desk. So whatever you find in your hearts to do for us in this wonderful and terribly urgent work, as I think all of us know about today. It's not a case of educating anyone or telling you anything that you already don't know about. The media certainly has been filled with what's going on with our Jewish children on a national basis from coast to coast. But as I said when we started to speak, the fact that we finally have a branch established in our beloved town of Long Beach is really a dream come true. And won't you please help Rabbi Shapiro in whatever way you find that you're able to. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. But I think we left out a very important thing, ladies, and I think I only got a minute left. So why don't you take this on, and I think I'm going to hit Dorothy Goldman with this. How about the men? Why are we talking anything about the ladies? They make the Church, no? They're allowed to do something. I think could we invite them in to share, and where would they sort of get involved?
Yes, we do have men involved, and they do a wonderful job. Of course, the women are much better. But please, if you're interested, the address again is 26 West Park Avenue, and the phone number is 889-3363. Please call us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a wonderful panel here tonight. I may get them back next week in Yitzhak once again. Of course, Monday night, we're going to have a special program on Yutes Kislev, which is the day of the liberation of the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rabbi of Ladi, Rabbi Shneur Zalman. There'll be a special program. I'm trying to get Dr. Mindel to be my guest. He's also from Long Beach. And then again, Tuesday night, of course, is the Farbringen. I'll be on the air. The Lubavitcher Rebbe goes on at 9:15, direct from Brooklyn headquarters at 770 East Rim Parkway. And with the help of God, I'll be at the mic to do the English translations for you. But in the meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that the time for lighting of candles tomorrow, Mirz Hashem for Shabbos, is 12 minutes past 4 o'clock. Don't make a mistake. Your calendars say 1 hour later, because that was the daylight calendar. We have to be very, very careful to remember that it's an hour earlier. It's 4 o'clock and 12 minutes. 12 minutes past 4. And also remember the importance of getting your kinderlach to light the Shabbos candles, your little daughters, your einiklach, the meidlach, as young as 3 years and older, which is part of the big campaign today to bring our children into the fold of Judaism and have them participate actively by taking a share in one of the mitzvahs, especially the mitzvah of lighting of candles, which was given to the women. And so I want to take this opportunity to wish you a Freilich and Shabbos. Have a very pleasant weekend. If you have any questions, you need more information, just telephone us in the morning, 778-4600, or contact with Jewish Youth, 824 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. And until Monday at the same time, may God bless you all.